I did a total of nearly 23 courses during the course of my 1 year at the YIF. And for all those of you who don't know, the YIF program is split up into 8 terms. So every course runs. So the ELM is a core component of the YIF program where fellows work in groups of 5 on real world projects from diverse sectors in collaboration with organizations and institutions. So the ELM runs for a period of 7 months.
How will the YIF help me do better? Will I get a job? What kind of jobs come to YIF? I come from this niche sector. Will I get a job in this niche role that I'm looking at? How do companies come? Because everybody's coming from different backgrounds and walks of life. What are the pay packages? There are so many questions around it. And I'd like you to unpack whatever you can based on your experience. But,
Sure.
if you could shed light on your own journey, how, I know that you received a lot of support from the Career Development Office, and how did that help you get to where you are today?
Absolutely. No, that question has come my way as well. And it was one of the questions that even I had when I was applying to the program, because everyone wants some amount of reassurance, when they're applying for the program, where they'd be 1 year from now. And I think, this is something that I must give kudos to Priyanka Chandok and her entire team at the CDO for sort of streamlining the recruitment process and being there for fellows and UGs and ASPs or anyone who's part of the Ashoka ecosystem at every step of the way. I'll just take you through what the application process looks like, and we can deep dive further into it. Fellows who are looking for placements are required to set up a superset profile. A superset profile contains all your personal information, your educational attainments, your extracurricular activities, and based on that, it sort of auto-generates a resume for you. What happens is, at the UG level and at the YIF level, there is something called a placecom or a placement committee that is set up. And these are your own cohort members who become a part of the placement committee, and they work as a go-between for the fellows and the placement committee. So during the month of August, what happens is all your superset profiles are verified. You may have to submit documents, in order for them to verify your educational and professional attainments. So that during that month, your entire profile is set up. Then during the last month of August and the first week of September, that's when your placement cycle starts. So what happens is, initially you have your consulting and banking companies that usually tend to come in earlier. This is during the month of September and October and early November itself. Post that, especially post the new year, that's when you have your startups and think tanks and social sector organizations and media organizations coming to hire. That's what the trend has been in the last few years, and that's what it was this year as well. So, and there are two types of companies that Ashoka categorizes as tier 1 companies and tier 2 companies. So tier 1 companies are those companies, those companies are listed as tier 1 companies that tend to have a higher brand value or more of a brand prestige, and who Ashoka has a very close relationship with, who they've built a close relationship with over the years. And also to a great extent, it varies on CTC. The higher CTC companies tend to be in tier 1. So as per the placement policy at Ashoka, if a candidate receives an offer from a tier 1 company, then they fall out of the placement cycle. So you either accept it or reject it, right? So that's when I feel candidates have to be very careful and strategic in terms of companies that they're applying to. Because by chance, if you get an offer from a company that you're not too inclined to, you may be in a very tricky situation because you fall out of the placement cycle, right? So I think you must be careful over there. And typically how it works is, companies will come and post openings on Superset. candidates who are interested are supposed to submit their resumes, the auto-generated resume, like I mentioned, to these companies. That's all you're required to do. The companies have a first stage of filtration where, based on your resume, they release a shortlisted list of candidates. And after that, every company has their own selection criteria. It could entail one interview, two interviews, a writing test and an interview, an aptitude test, writing test, and two interviews. I mean, that's what I had at when I was when I was in the selection process for Gartner, where I'm going to be working now. We had aptitude test, we had a written test, and then we had two interviews. So the typical length from the time you submit your resume till the time you get your final offer could vary anywhere from 1 week to 1 month, depending company to company and what their evaluation process is. So that's a little bit about how the recruitment process works over here. And I was lucky enough to have bagged a job within the second month. But again, I think because this was one of my driving factors, when I had come to YIF, is like, I need to seal this job, so that it's out of the way. And obviously, like I said, be smart about the companies you are applying to. Don't just apply anywhere, because if you get the job, then you have to sort of accept it. And it's different for tier 2 companies. For tier 2 companies, which tend to come later, even if you receive an offer for the company, you have the liberty to reject the offer and apply to 3 other companies, but you can only do this 3 more times. And if you do decide to reject an offer from a tier 2 companies, you have to write to the CDO explaining why you've rejected this offer and why you're looking at other offers. So yeah, no, but having said that, in terms of what the support from the CDO has been, it's been phenomenal. They've been very proactive in organizing guest sessions, in organizing sessions, for a lot of people who've not worked in the past, like guesstimates, case studies, these are things that are very new to you, and like this is a part of the evaluation criteria for many companies. So they help you sort of approach these guesstimates and case studies, or even there are sessions conducted on how to sit for an interview. And of course, before companies come and release their JDs, there's a pre-placement talk that takes place, where representatives from companies come, and everyone is free to attend these pre-placement sessions. And I feel these pre-placement sessions are extremely useful, because you get an insight into the company. You're speaking to people who've actually worked there, and you can raise all your questions regarding the company. So these pre-placement talks take place. And the CDO has been extremely proactive when it comes to organizing these sessions. They've also been extremely proactive in terms of everyone is not looking for a job, people are looking for internships. So even if these companies don't come through the CDO through its network is able to get you in touch with a lot of these organizations, and you can apply to them laterally, even if not through the CDO. So I think in terms of support, it's been brilliant. And for me, I may appreciate it even more, because I didn't get this kind of support at the undergraduate level. And that's where I understood the importance of having like a placement cell on campus, because as a fresher, you're sort of just thrown into the deep ocean, and you're trying to figure everything out. You don't know what these terms are: risk, assurance, consulting, so they help you understand, and help you sort of they give you career guidance. So I think it's been phenomenal, for me at least.
And what are some of the companies or profiles as well as packages that have come in this year? I know the data, the CDO releases data, but it takes a while for them, and it's almost the end of the year. So if you could shed light on, say, the current cycle, companies, examples or names that come into your mind just at the top of your head.
Sure. So we've had companies come from various industries, whether it be banking and finance, or consulting, internet and technology, media publishing, the social sector. So some of the companies that come to the top of my mind, there was BCG, there was Bain, there was McKinsey, there was Kearney, there was Gartner, there is Michael Page, there's Deutsche Bank, there's Genpact, there is a lot of people look at the social sector. There's Satva that came, then there was Jamboree Education. These are just a few of the names that are coming to my mind because my friends have been placed here. But yeah, I mean, you've got your top recruiters coming, and like, this is something that I discuss with a lot of people. Just having a CDO in place with this vast network of organizations makes life so much easier, because, and if you're not a part of the Ashoka ecosystem, just being out there applying blindly to these companies, because you see the Ashoka name brings some sort of credibility to the candidate who is applying for this role. So I feel that the CDO has been done like a phenomenal job in sort of getting these companies on board and giving us a chance to apply to these organizations, which we may not have been able to do otherwise. In terms of CTCs, again, I can't put a number to it, but I mean, I would say it wouldn't be too different from what the last few years have been. And as far as I saw, the 2018-2019 statistics was the median salary was about 11 lakhs for the YIF. It could be little 10% more or less, but that's the right figure for companies that have been coming. Yeah.